Hey everybody. Welcome to another LinkedIn review here on Not TikTok. But that's what I do. I do a lot of TikToks. I'm gonna share my screen right here so you can kind of see that. One of the things I really love doing is helping people figure out how to use this platform. A little bit about me before we kind of get into it and why, I think I have something of value to say, I guess. Um, my doctorate degree is in rhetoric, communication, and information design, which is basically the art of persuasion um, and visual communication. And that's what LinkedIn is you're trying to communicate a particular argument, a particular thesis that you should be hired for a specific reason, for a specific role. And everything you do should be evidence to support that thesis. And as you can see here, I really enjoy making TikToks and helping people. I've done several and I'm planning on doing more. And what I wanted to do with this is just really have a chance to engage with a community that I've really grown to love and appreciate myself. I started getting behind a screen and talking. There we go. About 2 years ago now. It's been a fun road. It's been a long road, but I'm happy to be here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with some of our live LinkedIn preview or profile reviews. These will be available on YouTube afterwards. So if you can't catch this now, obviously you can't because you're watching on YouTube right now anyway. So it's going to be there. And if you would like me to review your profile, please go ahead and submit your comments or submit your profile in the comment section. I went ahead and gathered some before we got here, just in case there was only one person watching like there is right now. But it's okay. Thank you for being here. All right. I'm going to share my screen. So first of all, I would just want to say thank you to everybody who volunteered their profile on my LinkedIn page. I came over here and I made a post. I don't know, I'm showing you this other than I feel like I want to. Right here. So this is where we posted it. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and add this one to the list as well and click. And so this is where I've been pulling everybody from. I'm very excited about this. Let's just kind of get into it, okay? So first off, thank you, Tiana, for letting me use your profile. I really appreciate it. I really like the background photo. It's catchy. It's abstract. I like simple things. That's just me personally. I like it's a good color combination. Something to consider is that your banner is an opportunity to sell yourself. It's your billboard space. There's a great. I'll drop this in the comments right here. I think I should be able to do this. I'm going to drop a link to our learning content that was primarily made by Side. Thank you, Side, for doing that. But profile pictures and background photos, we talk a little about those more here, and we're in the process of building out more content. But in the background photo course that Side had created, she talks about and looks, and I just want to pull up this picture. That right there. Your banner is a billboard, and so make sure you're using it properly. This isn't bad, but it could be better. Like, what do you want to be saying? How is it communicating what you want to? What do you want to say? Oh, people are saying thank you. Okay, this is so great. Okay, so right here, I'm looking at your head. Oh, let's talk about the open to work banner or thing right here. Honestly, there's a big who should we use it? Should we not use it? I think that's just kind of a dumb conversation that allows people to engage on the platform. So I think that people should use it if you want to use it. It's a decision that you need to make. I don't think that there's a good or bad one. I think that the more opportunities that LinkedIn gives you to engage with its platform algorithmically, the better. I mean, they put that in there for a reason, right? They're not just like, oh, we should do this and then like calling it a day. They're watching it, right? They're measuring it. Be measured. I don't know. All right. I would zoom in a little bit more on your profile picture face so I can see a little bit more of your facial features. Because especially if I'm on a mobile device, you just look like just like a really small person. And I want to be able to recognize you when I see you on a phone call. Okay. Like that's one of the things that you want to do with your profile picture, is be able to let people recognize you. Okay. So here we have educator and empowering and engaging learners. Awesome. Educator is a status of what you are now and what you were. What do you want to become? Like, what's your next step? Where do you want to go? Use some of those keywords. Okay. And then right here, I love your verbs, empowering and engaging learners. Okay. How do you want to do that? You can do that as a sales rep for an ed tech company. You can do that as a database administrator for a company, right? You can do that as a COO for a company. When you empower and engage learners, come down. It's called the abstraction ladder, right? Come down, give me some concrete details. How do you want to empower? How do you want to engage? Which learners? Do you want are adult learners, right? Corporate training, kindergarten? I'm not really sure. So help me understand where you're going with that. Coming down here, we can get a better idea. Instructional designer, professional development, e-learning specialist, content developer. So that's good. Like, so use some of that language in your header up here. Let's go to the about section, and then we'll go on to another profile. So dynamic and innovative educator with 8 years of experience in instruction and learning and development. Some of my favorite challenges as an educator have been transforming a year of in-person curriculum to e-format, designing and delivering high-impact presentations, collaborating with subject matter experts to do this, supporting mental health and emotional health of this. I love applying my firsthand knowledge of teaching and learning to the instructionalized process to create impactful learning experience and better outcomes for both learners and organizers. Oh, and I'm a real person too. I'm passionate about mental health and suicide prevention. I want to know that you're a real person way before I read that at the bottom. Because as strong of writing this is, these sentences could be true of about 10,000 people on LinkedIn right now. I want your about section to be about you. When you say here are some of my favorite challenges, go back to that idea of the abstraction letter. Share a concrete detail, a concrete story about one of those favorite challenges. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for letting me use your profile. And let's move on to the next one. And by the way, if you're here and if you're listening and we're not connected yet, please connect with me. And also all these people who are volunteering their profiles, please connect with them as well, right? It's a scary thing to be putting your stuff out there on Facebook or not on Facebook, on the internet. And so thank you for letting me use your profiles, everybody. All right. So Tracy Ann. All right. What I notice immediately is the banner says, I am for equity because who I am matters. And I 100% agree with that. That's why LinkedIn put it there as a default banner, because everybody can relate to it. Go back, figure out like, why is that important to you? Where is the opportunity to connect that message to being a program director, relationship building extraordinaire? Okay. Use that space intentionally. The photo, I think it's a good photo. It's one of those like very professional, like you probably like, like stood in front of a green screen, or I'm a colorblind person, so I don't know what color that is. But you stood behind a screen and then they, took a professional headshot. That's not bad. It's not necessarily approachable, right? Like we don't, especially post COVID, right? We don't show up on a video screen looking like our best selves. I mean, speak for yourself, I guess. No. Like this is how I show. Like I show up in a black t-shirt, right? This is who I am, and this is what I do. And I have a lot of leeway given the identities that I have. Give me a picture that I want to relate to, right? That like I want to like, it's like, oh, have it like the photo like you pop up when someone calls you. I don't know. Have fun with it. There's also here the words I'm like failing to understand. Going in here on the website and going to the profile picture, and you can go in and look at like what does it mean to have a good quality profile picture. There's not one way to do it really, but it should be intentional. Okay, so also I'll just notice like a lot of this right here, I just skip over and I get lost. Consider your reader when they're doing that too. How much of that information is necessary? I would drop candidate status for sure. Let people know that you're working towards something like a goal, not the fact that you are in a state of transition. So right here we have program director at FAU. You don't necessarily need to put where you're located because you'll see, I can see it right here. So this is prime real estate, this whole header. You don't need to repeat information that's going to be over here. Relationship building extraordinaire, aspiring customer success manager, business analyst, product manager, coaching development analyst, data analyst, big data machine learning. All right. This is something that I see that's kind of common. That educators, academics, teachers, admin, we have come to this point because we feel like we've done so many things. And so now we can do so many things. And we're just waiting for the opportunity to figure out which one that is. It's very unlikely that someone's just going to give you that opportunity open-ended. They want you to understand. They want a specific path. Okay. So right here, program director, that's one position. That's one career path. Relationship building, we'll talk about that in a second. Customer success manager, that's an entirely different career path. Business analyst, entirely different. Project manager or product manager, entirely different. Coaching and development, entirely different. Analyst, that's even more broad. These are all good keywords. These are all really good things to have if it's constructed in a single narrative that is focused on one of those things. So I said before, like, it's okay for all those things. No, it's not. Pick one. I was talking to a recruiter the other day at a very large ed tech company that have grown from like 40 to 400 over the past 2 years. And I was talking with her and she said, we can see where you're applying to. If you come to our company and you're dead set on working for an ed tech company, we can see you apply to all these different variety of positions. If that's the case, they're not going to reach out to you because it's clear you don't know what you want. How can a recruiter or hiring manager help you finish your career path if you're not sure which career path you're on? Okay. So play with those different things, understand which one it is that you really resonates with you, and then focus on that. Don't be afraid to pivot and go into something different, but don't try to go on 4 paths at once or even 2 paths at once. One path, pivot to another one if you need to. All right. Hello, my name is. That's a great line. Like it's very inviting. I got that. I'm graduating this fall with an MBA in business analytics and a certificate in big data analytics. That is something that should be communicated much quicker and higher up here, right? Like right now, like that's lost in this and this and this and this. These skills, that's money. I mean, there are data analyst positions, business analyst positions that are starting at $85,000, $95,000 for entry level kind of stuff, right? You get into some of the higher positions, you're looking at like 105, 110. Okay. If you know how to do data, make sure that you understand what that is. And here's the other thing about data. The key to effective data is storytelling with data. Remember, your profile should be evidence to support your argument. Okay. If your argument is that you're good at data and storytelling with data and all that kind of stuff, show me. Show me. Don't tell me. Show me. How do you do that? Let's look at your content activity, right? We won't go through, like, one of the first things that is prioritized in someone's feed when they look is what they are doing. It's not your education. It's not your experience section. It is what you are doing on the platform. People want to know who you are. This is your ethos, your credibility. And so they go through and they'll look at these kinds of things and get a better idea. I kind of forgot what I was doing in the first place when I was going with there. So all that to say, if that's your path, data, run with it. Focus on it. Don't try to be everything else. Try to be that really, really good thing and then show people what you can do. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one. Thank you, Tracy Ann. Elaine, instructional designer. Okay, so this has, it's a, oh, this is a great example. This is a screenshot because I've seen Elaine's content before. This is great. And she created this, I don't know what the program is, but she created a deliverable. And that's what people should be doing. Create content, post content, fill up that activity feed the algorithm, okay? The problem with this is that it's very blurry, right? So be a user for your own profile. Go and look at it and ask yourself, oh, is that blurry? Like, would I have a hard time seeing that? And then help us understand what it is. All right. With this photo, I would actually zoom out a little bit with the photo so that we can see a little bit more. It's not white space, but like that kind of that blank space around to frame your face a little bit more. Instructional designer, artist, creative learning specialist, implemented growth mindset to propel students with learning disabilities to make gains in Title I urban schools for the past 10 years. Okay, this is kind of like right now is a little bit jumbled and pushed together. I would focus, like we've talked about before, focus on one noun, just one of those career paths. And this right here is implemented. This is something that talked about what you have done. I am way more interested in what you are going to do. What value are you going to bring? Don't discard that. Don't delete it. Move it to a post that you create and that you then feature up here on your profile, which is exactly what we did up here. Yeah, the ADDIE process. That's what it's called. Okay. Let's go down here to learning, and I want to go to your experience. So this right here is just something to be cautious of. Right here, this one of your largest chunks of 4 years doesn't have anything there. But let's look at this one. So a specialist in online learning, co-teaching, behavior management, serving students with a wide range of learning needs. Okay, I see this constantly on teachers and academics profiles. You just completely undercut your value. Do you know how much work goes into serving students with a wide range of learning needs? So much. And it's compelling and it's interesting. Rewrite that. Let me rephrase this. Your education section, in my opinion, is not a cut and paste copy of your resume. It is so much bigger and more beautiful than that. It is a place to expand your story, your narrative. Okay, it's a different document, a different thing than your resume. This should be a story. Tell me a story. What does that story say? It should be answering the question, why should we hire Elaine as our instructional designer? Everything you post, everything you do on LinkedIn, that should be answering that question. Why should we hire this person for this role? Don't tell me that you serve students with a wide range of learning needs. Show me. Show me you walking around the classroom. A recruiter can look through and does look through 100 profiles in an hour in order to make a decision. You have two problems with that. One, how do you get higher on that list of 100? And that's how you engage with SEO, strategic search words, and that kind of thing. And the other problem is how do you be remembered after 100 profiles? And you do that by telling good stories. So tell a good story. You've got them. Each of us are unrepeatable and unique. Let's moving on. My plan is to go until the 30-minute mark. So we'll go for that. Unless I get like some overwhelming participation and encouragement from online audience. Maybe I'll do some more. Next, we have Lauren Cole, creating with radical empathy. And then we have a cool logo. I love it. It's simple. Something that I would recommend doing is going into, it's called Adobe Color Checker Analyzer, whatever. And you can take your hex codes for these things right here, and you can enter them here, and it will tell you if it passes or if it fails for accessibility reasons. Okay. So while we are, and again, this is just, it's not that it's bad. Like this is great. is there anything that we can do to make it a little bit better to show your ability a little bit more? And if you can show that you're paying attention to accessibility in the digital content that you create, why not do that? Okay, so high school Spanish emoji. To UX researcher and designer, perpetually curious and storyteller. ADHD is my superpower, military spouse, practicing radical empathy. I really dig this a lot for a couple of reasons. It shows me the path that from a high school Spanish teacher to a UX researcher and designer. I would consider narrowing it down to researcher or designer, which one is because companies are going to hire for different roles. Or you can do like UX experience, like user experience, kind of like broaden out a little bit. I would drop the emojis solely because I've heard that it kind of messes with the algorithms that LinkedIn uses to search. It's not a very easily thing to search. And so just dropping it, right? Perpetually curious storyteller. If that is true, and I hope that it is, when I go to your about section or when I go down to your activity section, I expect that to be their evidence of that, right? And I'm excited to know if that's true because I'm already on the path. Which path? Going from a high school teacher to designer. How does she get there? She's perpetually curious. Why? Well, apparently ADHD is her superpower, which, I think I've got that too. Super awesome. And then military spouse. Generally, I don't recommend that people put identifying markers like that or like those kinds of nouns in your profile. However, military spouse is a very strong identity to have, especially in association with services that are offered to military and their spouses, right? Like there are programs that offer specific services to these to folks, and that's a good thing to put in there. I would be cautious otherwise. And then practicing radical empathy, and then a heart. Okay, so let's come down and see how this perpetually curious storyteller is telling us stories. Oh, see right here. Our very first activity thing that we see is a story. On the first day of school, after all the introductions and the icebreakers, our students watched a video detailing active shooter protocols. And that is just heartbreaking in and of itself that happened. But can you see what a story does to a user? It causes a visceral reaction. That's what you want. People remember things based on emotional responses. Elicit those emotional responses intentionally. Don't overdo it, right? We don't want to play Sarah McLachlan as, you will remember me, right? As dying puppies are being passed around. Or sorry, sick puppies. We don't want to pull too much on those strings. But it is powerful when you do. So well done, Laura. All right, let's go to the next one. I've got time. I'm trying to get through two more. Donnie, I see you're messaging me. I'll get back to you. All right. Alexandra, thank you for letting me use your profile. I think this is a great photo. I love the fact that you're in your car. It just feels like today. I don't know. It just feels like that's where we are, right? Like we're doing things wherever we need to get done. And that idea is related in this productivity. Like this is like, look at me, my hands are here and I'm working. Problem is that it's a blurry picture. Okay. What you can do, you can go into Canva and you can create really beautiful content very, very easily. Download it as a JPEG and not a PNG because a PNG is too high quality and make it too pixelated. Make sure that you're aware of that as you're going through and posting your pictures. Okay, so we have the same thing that we got, like we're trying to figure out what nouns, like what are our nouns? How do we identify ourselves? Am I an educator? Are you an instructional designer, instructional coach, a content designer, professional learning specialist, education consultant, equity inclusion, customer success manager? Think of it this way. if you get hired into a company, who would be your supervisor? Instructional designer is going to have a different one than the content designer. The instructional designer, instructional coach, and professional learning specialist will probably have the same report. An educational consultant is an outside entity. Equity and inclusion are really abstract things that we want to accomplish, but it's not a job. And you have customer success manager, which has a different supervisor. Put yourself into the recruiter's shoes. If they land on your profile, they're like, who? Not only where do they want, like who's going to be their boss? What tasks are they going to do? If you have the problem, how do you figure out what you want to do? Where do you want to go? Here's what I recommend. Think about the tools you want to create or like you want to use. Do you want to use Asana to track projects? Do you want to use Figma to create different things? If you want to share if you want to, somebody can ask if they can share. Yes, you can. Just put in a link to your profile. I lost track where I was, but that's okay. Bilingual, educator, staff. Okay, so right here, this is just repeated information from something that we've already seen. Okay. All right. And Artie, I see it. You'll be next. Stat developer. Okay. So some of these things I've already talked about. Here's what I want to point out that I love about your about section. Okay. So right here at the bottom, you have a big long list of words. That is fantastic, right? So your about section should be a compelling story, a narrative, something that gives reason for a person to click into the profile, okay? But then you need to recognize that an algorithm is also reading your profile. You want to be found as a project manager? Start using project manager language. How do you figure out what that language is? Research it. LinkedIn Learning. Go do that work. An algorithm is going to read that. Which keywords should you use? Think about what a recruiter is going to do to search for a candidate. They're not going to search compassionate listener. They're not going to do that. They're going to search for keywords, right? Like content designer. Okay, so get concrete. All right, let's go over here. Oh, I'm going to try to see if I can click this. It's not letting me. Oh, no. I thought I would be able to cut and paste that link, and it's not letting me. And so I apologize for that. I will do yours next on my TikTok channel. Okay, so I've time for one more, and I'm really sad about that. Like we'll see if I can figure out what's going on there, but we'll do one more, and then we'll call it a day, and we'll join me next week. Okay, and also everybody, again, just in case you're new, right? I have a whole bunch of TikTok profile reviews that are right here that are available to you. All right, let's go with this one. Male. I'm going to go with, I'm not certain about the pronunciation. There is an option to add your, like a voice, like you speaking your name, which is really good, not only like for people to hear your name and how to pronounce it correctly, but it's also like a good way to like be welcoming. Instead of saying like Eric Stevens, right? You can be like, hi, my name is Eric Stevens. Thank you for landing on my profile. It becomes an opportunity to be presentable. Yeah, I will do that. Let's see. I'm trying to do like lots of things at once, and I'm realizing that I'm good at doing lots of things at once. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Oh, Lindy is just like the best. If you don't connect with Lindy, if you haven't, you should. I'm going to drop my profile. It should be able to do it right here. Let me know if you get that or not. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so make sure that you have that opportunity there. This is a beautiful picture. Give me an like how does it relate? There, you can like put some words on here, maybe with like a background so you can they pop a little bit more. but use that space intentionally. Qualitative researcher, border expert, filmmaker, and modern melange. I'm bad at words. Think about that idea again, that concept. What is a recruiter or hiring manager going to search for when they are searching for your future job? How would you search for your future self? Think of that way. Like, how would you Google yourself? I'm a highly skilled researcher and communications professional with 9 years of experience. I'm motivated to pivot my career from academia towards tech because I believe that within complex environments, the best problems are solved. My goal is to solve problems related to customer concerns and their interaction with products. Okay, this right here is a great sentence. Like it was coming down, it's narrow, it's getting narrower. What kind of customer concerns, what kind of interactions, and what kind of products are all questions you can ask yourself to narrow your search. And if you're concerned about, well, am I going to narrow myself down too much? Maybe I would risk narrowing yourself down too much than going too broad, right? Because too much you can expand. It's a lot easier to expand up than to kind of pare down, right? So I'd risk going too narrow. Do that thought, that thinking, so that a recruiter doesn't have to. And here's how I'll close with this, right? Thank you so much, everybody, for letting me use your profiles. A recruiter and a hiring manager, they're looking for people who know what they want. I'll share it this way. I have a lot of people who come up to me and they ask me, they're like, hey, I would love to be able to help. Is there anything I can do to help you build what you're building? And I'm very, very appreciative to those people who do that. But I don't know what it is that they need or want in order for me to be able to help them in a reciprocal way. So if someone comes to me like, is there anything I could do? Like anything at all? I'll be like, thank you so much for this opportunity. Like, I appreciate your effort. Thank you. If someone comes to me like Side A did, and she said, Eric, I want to become an instructional designer and I need a subject matter expert so that I can create courses. Will you be my subject matter expert so I can create a course? And I said, absolutely, yes. Because she brought me a specific path, a specific goal. There was no effort on my end that I had to do in order to solve the problem, right? In order to figure out how I could help best. Okay, so take that into consideration as you're going through and doing all of these different kinds of things. Get specific. Get specific. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.